Hi, my name's Doctor Warrick Bishop, and welcome to my podcast and videocast station. And today I'm super excited to have Candice Groves as a guest again on the Healthy Heart Network podcast. Welcome, Candice. How are you?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Yep, excellent. And for those who may have missed the last time I spoke with Candice, go back and listen to it because it's well worth listening to. We are talking about pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, which is a heck of a mouthful, but essentially it's using frequencies and magnetic fields to improve the way cells work, generating mitochondrial energy, improving nitric oxide, improving healing, improving blood flow. And it's really a fascinating area and one I'm very keen to learn more about. So check out what Candice said on the last podcast. But this one, Candice, I'm really keen to hear how you break down where you think pulsed electromagnetic field therapy can fit in. And I'd also like to touch on infrared because you also incorporate that into your mats. But first of all, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, where do you see some of the biggest benefit for that?
So when we discussed in our first episode how PEMF therapy works, it's quite a broad spectrum because we're working on all cells. But some of the biggest concerns that people have when they come to, say, best self, for example, would be anything from sleep, anxiety, stress, so some of those cognitive issues, to bone, joint, cartilage, and nerve pain, post-injury or surgery recovery. So it's really working for like the body and mind in many ways. And there's lots of studies to support this too.
So in the last interview that we had, I alluded to some of the research that was in the Cochrane Review Library. And there was a recurring theme that pulsed electromagnetic field therapy had been clearly shown to reduce fracture healing rate by nearly 50%. And I thought that was just amazing, actually. We don't have therapeutic agents that do that. And it made me think if there was a drug out there that a drug company had a patent on that could reduce fracture healing time by 50%, those drug reps would be knocking on doctors' doors left, right, and center with a new miracle cure. And yet we haven't even heard what pulsed electromagnetic field therapy can do in this space. I think just makes no sense to me. Any comments on that?
I don't know what comments we can have on a public platform, but there's like at the end of the day, there's big pharma. And there's people have to make money out there, and usually the big dogs will overrule, and holistic usually is at the bottom. So people will have to dig deep to find holistic alternatives to pharmaceutical treatments.
So, I mean, I think there's no question if there's no money in it, it's very hard to get it advocated because people are not chasing it. And if there's no clear patents available on current pulsed electromagnetic field therapy technology, then, large organizations would say, well, we don't have a way to block off the market. We don't have a way to protect ourselves. And maybe it flies under the radar because of that, which I think is just outrageous, which makes this sort of opportunity to share with people and let them know what's out there even more valuable, I think. But let me pivot again. I keep changing direction on you. I'm sorry about that. But for those listening, hopefully you've got the sense that pulsed electromagnetic field therapy might be able to help almost any cell in the body and can even help mood and sleep and anxiety. But I guess really importantly, as we're thinking about the good, we've got to think about the bad. What are the sort of things that you can't use? What situations can't you use pulsed electromagnetic field therapy in? Are there absolute contraindications? Are there relative contraindications?
Yeah, well, I mean, being an electromagnetic device, you don't want to be having any electrical implants like a pacemaker, anything like that, a stent. And also if you are pregnant, And the reasons for that sort of thing is because people don't do studies on pregnant women, but when a baby is growing, it's probably best just to leave it be. But so they're the two main ones. When it comes to epilepsy, it's sort of, there's two sides to it, and it's really best to speak to a healthcare expert because there are studies that show that it can help reduce seizures activity, but then they also have another side of it where it's just best to avoid use if not necessary. So they're the main ones. Otherwise, if you've got a metal implant, that's totally fine, unless you're using something with 10,000 Gauss, which was the intensity we talked about in the first episode. So
for the horse with the
yeah, that'll literally, I mean, if it's contracting your body, it'll wriggle your metal implant. You don't want that. So low frequency PEMF is generally extremely safe.
Yeah, okay. And look, I can offer you a cardiology comment on the stent. Our stents universally are safe in MRI scanners, and they go up to 3 Tesla, 4 Tesla. So I'm pretty sure that a stent would be absolutely fine with one of your with a pulsed electromagnetic field therapy mat. Very different for a pacemaker, but a stent would be fine.
Yeah.
So the other thing you mentioned, Candice, and before we jump onto this, for those interested in whether pulsed electromagnetic field therapy may be able to help them, please check it out on Candice's website. Candice is founder and CEO of Best Self, B-E-S-T, Best Self, C-E-L-L-F, which is a beautiful play on words. Check out that website. There's lots of information there. There's lots of different products to suit people's different needs. But if you're thinking this sort of therapy could be beneficial for you, have a look and get a bit more information. Candice has put together a special offer actually for people listening. If they do purchase something and put Dr. Warrick, that's W-A-R-R-I-C-K, in the code or coupon box, they'll get a $50 discount.
That's it, yeah. And we do free standard shipping in Australia.
Which is a great deal just for listening and using a code. So thank you for that. And I'm sure the people listening would appreciate that. What I wanted to do, though, is come around to infrared therapy or red light therapy, because you combine that with your mats. Well, first of all, what is red light therapy?
So red light, there's different wavelengths of light. And so there's visible and invisible. So when we look at red light, obviously you can see that. Then there's other ones like near infrared, which you might see a warm light, but you'll actually feel a little bit of warmth as well. And then you've got other wavelengths of infrared that would be what you feel in a sauna, where you're purely receiving the heat, but you may not necessarily see it. So with red light, there's different penetration levels of these wavelengths, and it goes just beneath the surface of skin level of your body. So it's just going beneath the skin, but the reason that it can help is it's very good with helping with your mitochondria and your ATP production. And when you're energizing cells, whether it's on your skin level or just beneath, you're able to help with a multitude of things, from whether it's on top, so your skin healing, rejuvenation, wound or scar healing, or going beneath, very good for oxygenation of those cells. So you're getting really good inflammation reduction, and that's going to result in alleviating your pain. So for example, some people might use these on their hands or wrists for hand arthritis, joint issues. You can put like a wrap around your knee, because you've got that very thin layer between where your skin is, where your bone, cartilage and ligaments are. It's really going to be able to get in there and circulate everything. So it's very good at essentially relieving your inflammation and thus pain.
Yeah. Okay. And how many products are on the market where red light therapy or infrared therapy and pulsed electromagnetic field therapy are in the same device? Is that a common thing? Because when I was searching it, I didn't see it as a common thing at all.
There are a couple out there. In terms of Australia, we were the first to sort of spearhead it in the country. And as I mentioned in the first episode, one of the things that I wanted to do is make sure that Australians had access to this instead of having to buy overseas for ridiculous prices, take 30 days for shipping, and essentially having something that we can design here and have customer service here and have habit stack, having all these different tools in the one mat. Well, I mean, that's what I love to do. That's what our customers love to do. And you can lay on it for 20 or 60 minutes and you've done it all.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Can you actually sleep on these mats, Candice, or is there a time limit to how long you should use them for?
So there's no time limit because it's very safe on your body. It's almost like synonymous with like the Earth's frequencies. So the Earth has an electromagnetic field average of 7.83 hertz. That is like the grounding effect, and that's when you're getting the negative ions released and going into your body and helping with inflammation and things. So the Earth's electromagnetic field is created by lightning fields hitting the Earth, which is magnetic, lightning, electric. We create that field, and that's actually a very healthy living environment for us. So if we have a PEMF mat that's mimicking that, it's a healthy environment. And we do have programs that run for 7 to 8 hours. However, it's not necessary with a PEMF device to be sleeping on it all night. You might have heard of grounding sheets, which you plug into the wall and it mimics the actual intensity and frequency of the Earth. But because PEMF is a higher intensity, so higher magnetic flux, to explain that a bit better, you can put a magnet up to a PEMF device and the magnet will pulse to the frequency. So like in episode 1 hertz is 1 pulse per second. So the magnet will pulse 1 pulse per second. But you can't put a magnet to the Earth because it's so low intensity. You can use a compass, but you can't do that way. So 7 hours you could, you don't need to. The mats, they do soften over time, but I would be putting a mattress topper over them.
Yeah, okay. And how far do they penetrate through? So if you were to have a mat, what depth of penetration do the magnetic fields, I mean, like, do you need to lay on your front and then on your back, or does it pass right through your body?
So the thing about pulse electromagnetic field therapy is it does not recognize any objects, bone, flesh, materials. You could put your phone on a PEMF coil, it would still pass through. So it's coming out of the mat and it's passing through, pulsing back and forth. And our PEMF, because different devices have different intensities of the Gauss, ours will go right through your body and it passes right through. So your cells are stimulated and passes back. So it's just going up and down. You don't have to flip over. But if you want, some people, like, for example, if you've got menstrual cramps or something, you might want to lay with your stomach on there and just get more of a direct, immediate treatment. But it does pass all the way through your body.
So look, I actually really find this opportunity, these are biohacking discussions, and the opportunity to use physical technologies, whether it's magnetic or light, to impact the cells. And I find this absolutely fascinating. We're going to wrap up reasonably soon, but I'm going to invite you to share a story. I'm guessing that you've had the opportunity now to share this technology, either PEMF or red light therapy or both, with enough individuals that you must have a couple of golden stories. Would you like to share one?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're right. And it's hard to actually pick one because I really like speaking to my customers. So I'm always asking how they're going, or they'll message me and ask a question, or, you know, which setting should I use for this? And there's always something different that they need it for. But some of the ones that I found most rewarding are people who have had brain or spinal injuries their whole life, and well, most of their life, and they've had to go to chiropractors and different therapists to help ease the pain and just get mobility back into their body. And after making the decision to buy a PEMF mat and use it, and we usually provide a protocol, it might be once or twice a day on specific settings based on the studies that support what their concern is. So with one specific customer, she was always keeping me updated with how she was going, and she was using it twice a day. And I think it was just a random nice email a few months later, and it just like made my eyes welt. The fact that she was expressing her gratitude for literally changing her life, because she now doesn't even have to go to these appointments anymore because her pain is eased and she's got her mobility back. And they always have some sort of other benefit they never expected to have. Also, just the brain fog going away and a reduction in migraines. So, when I know that someone feels like their life has literally changed, and I've been able to like help a little bit with that, that it makes my whole day. So even the reviews that we get, like every single one, I will always reply back to, because it just fills me with so much joy. So that's a big one when people have been suffering for so long.
And there is an absolute privilege actually in making a difference in people's lives. So I can tell you take that seriously, which is
Yeah,
great.
you definitely know.
Look, fantastic. I so appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to wrap it up. Candice, thank you once more for joining me today.
You're so welcome. It's been great.
I reckon I could talk for hours more about this.
Yeah, and I could
But
just.
for those listening, please go and check out Best Self, BESTCELLF. Candice is based in Burleigh Heads, Queensland. She's got a range of products which are not just pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, but include red light therapy as well. The science behind these therapies is amazing. If you are interested in a product, use Doctor Warrick as a code and you'll get $50 off and free shipping in Australia. I don't think you can ask for more than that. For now, though, I am going to wish you the very best. I hope you live as well as possible for as long as possible. Until next time, take care and goodbye.